meeting for Thursday, September 9th, 2001. The board may take up any agenda item may be taken on any item on the agenda. So, roll call.
All right, Swenson is present. Stickney.
Present.
Mraz. Brunberg.
I'm here.
Montez.
Present.
All right, and then we have Barry, Ross,
Present.
Jennifer Von Ash. Is she?
She will be missing tonight.
Okay. Horacio is
Present.
present. Jason Bain, present.
Where is your microphone?
It's on the same position as theirs.
Yep. Okay.
All right, we got Melissa Woodford is here, and Nadia. Is Nadia here?
Nadia's not here.
Okay. All right. That's it.
Okay, so the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I think this is probably appropriate time to bring up 9/11s in 2 days. I think everybody should reflect on that. It was a strange event, so hopefully everybody can reflect on it in a good fashion. All right, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as written?
I move we approve the agenda as written.
I'll second that.
Lisa seconds it, Erica,
Was that
Sharon, second. Sharon, second.
Sharon?
Sharon, all right.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So 5-0. We're going to public discussion, and I think any person may address the board upon any subject within the jurisdiction of the Orangevale Recreation Park District, with each speaker being limited to 3 minutes. However, the chairperson can impose reasonable limitation to maximum time per person and per agenda item to allow the board to complete its business. Any matter requires action will refer to staff or committee for report and action at a subsequent meeting. And we have a person.
We have one person here present in person, and I don't know if there's anybody online that wishes to speak. If there's anybody online that wishes to address us in public comment, please indicate in the chat, and we'll get to you after we get to Mr. Edward Ted Costa, who is here today to speak to the board.
Sean Latour's not coming? No?
He'll be here later.
Oh, he'll be here? Okay, good.
To the table and speaking into this microphone.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, the people on Zoom can't hear you.
Anyway, folks, I don't want to be carried away, but I'm here, and I've been on the board for 30 years, and I've really always been interested in management all my life, and would like to be on LAFCO, and I've just gone around visiting all the districts. It's 86 districts. We pay $2,900. I don't know what you pay. I had to look it up this morning, but I don't know what we get for $2,900. And we should get something, because remember, the legislature created LAFCO separate from cities, separate from counties. It's a state board, and it comes straight. And so there are 2 supervisors on it. There are 2 people represent the cities, and 2 people represent special districts. And it is LAFCO's job to determine if district lines should be merged and that sort of thing. And so I don't want to take up too much of your time. As I said, if any questions, I'll answer them. But my phone number and my email is at the bottom.
All right.
Questions?
No.
Oh, okay.
I have a quick one.
Sure.
Is that the new attempt, or a renewed attempt to try to drill to find water sources? Is that what because we've been approached that there might be test wells driven to find out where the best chance of aquifer?
We're in the course of working with your local water district. Yes, but remember, what happens when you get too many wells is the aquifer starts going down.
Right.
We need to recharge. San Juan has built a treatment plant over the years, $500 million plant is 150 million cubic feet a day of water, okay?
Okay.
And bring it up. It will be on the register, and the person who charges it, how much. That's what this new agency is going to do.
Okay.
It's a state mandated agency.
Right.
But they give us the opportunity to organize it first, and if we don't organize it, then the state will organize it. So it's a very complicated subject. Believe me, if any of you are interested in it, you want to sit down and talk about it, now or after the election, anytime.
Okay.
I'm the director of the district.
And real quick, how do we avoid the aerojet contamination from coming this way? Okay.
So, Mr. Costa, you are looking for a vote. You're running for one of the 2 vacancies on the LAFCO
Yeah.
board, and
Yes.
you came here to introduce yourself
Yeah,
and to...
Listen, I was on the LAFCO advisory. Listen, I've done so many things. I just mentioned a few highlights in your life.
Great.
And what,
Yes, before I retired, I recalled Gray Davis. Everyone that says, didn't you recall? Yes, I did. But I didn't put that on my resume. I don't think it's germane to what we're talking about here.
and that'll be on next month's or sometime later?
The deadline to apply is the
Most likely it'll
30th.
be either your November or December. It'll be open because nominations are still open until the end of the month. I think till the end of September, you can nominate someone if you want.
Okay. But we're not having a meeting in November, or at least we're not planning on it.
Don't worry, you'll get your chance.
All right, okay.
It'll probably come out, it'll probably be in November.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you all. One other thing.
Thank you.
Could I just take Mr. Chairman, one more minute?
Sure.
I've always been a proponent at San Juan because we have to bank water, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of ways to bank water. You drill a big well, and you put it down, it costs $3 or $4 million to do it. I like to perk it. I like to put it on the ground. And I've always been a proponent that San Juan Water should make deals with the park districts, and you put underground pipes under the park districts, and just let the water perk under the park district. It'll water the lawn, and it's a cheap way to go, and it's a very effective way to perk water. And you get government grants for it. They will pay maybe 100%.
Okay. I have real cool, something came up. I used to be on a advisory board like you have in the past. What about borrowed allocation?
We can't pull water out of the lake, we can turn off. In return, when it's not a drought, we put the water back in.
All right.
Okay.
We put that to the district.
Thanks for answering.
All right.
Sorry if I took up too much
No,
time.
no, that's
No.
fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Need to know where our water's coming.
All right. Anybody else wishing to speak?
Jason, is there anybody in the chat wishing?
We got, no.
No?
No? All right, so we'll move along. We'll go on to 6A, so June 10th. Can I get a motion to accept them?
The 3 that were here at that meeting were Directors Montez, Moraz, and Stickney.
Anybody can make the motion, but only 3 people. 3 of us.
I'll move to accept the minutes
And
as presented.
I'll second.
Okay.
Any discussion, corrections? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote on the minutes of June 10th.
Stickney?
Yes.
Mraz?
Yes.
Brumberg?
Abstain?
Montez?
Yes.
And Swenson abstain.
All right, so it's 3-0, 2 abstentions. Okay, then we'll go on to 6B, approval of minutes of the August 19th.
I move we approve the minutes of the regular meeting, August 19th, 2021.
Any corrections or questions?
And here.
Then let's go ahead and vote.
All right, Mraz?
Yes.
Brumberg?
Yes.
Montez?
Abstain?
Swenson, yes, and Stickney?
Yes.
All right, that's 4-0, 1 abstention.
Okay, then we'll go on to correspondence, 7A. I guess we won an award, the Ted Wills Safety Award. Good job, Horacio and everybody else.
Yes, thank you, yeah.
I guess is it a total district award, or is it just?
It's for the entire OV Parks District, and it's recognizing us for receiving the highest rating possible following our district visit by Capri. And, yeah, it represents our district's commitment to safety and loss control.
Okay.
So it is the highest award that they give annually.
Fantastic.
Good job. Okay, 7B, a letter from the participants in the top-notch basketball camp.
Correct. A grandma of one of the participants wrote this nice letter to us, thanking us for the program, in particular complimenting the coach, Coach Brian Mitchell, on running such a great program and including all the kids and making them all feel important. And also in the letter, she thanked us for the $200 voucher program.
But it's from San Juan, or am I?
San Juan that provided the money, and we helped relay it to our.
Did you ever let her know that, or?
I'm not sure. Jason, do you know, was she ever contacted about clarification
No.
on that point?
Yeah, it might be worth letting her do.
We should do that.
We
We put a few Facebook posts and social media posts out that did thank San Juan for the money
All right,
and
okay.
Persian and
I saw
Ottoman, but
that.
not directly. Okay, you
Okay.
did see those? Good.
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah.
And so, I got a question on that. Did we get the money yet from them, or is it?
As of,
One of six checks? Three, yeah, one of six we've received so far.
And did we ever determine whether it goes on last year's revenue or this year's?
we're gonna apply it to when we get it collected, so.
All right, okay, all right. I was just, makes last year look better, but it's all right. Whatever.
Yeah.
It'll make this year look even really
The
better.
year itself is also combined between June and July programming, so to fiscally break it down might be a little bit more of an extreme headache too. It's not just a fiscal cutoff for each one.
All right, just curious. All right, so then B's done, 7C.
See, we work closely with the National Academy of Athletics, and they run a lot of our youth sports programs and camps. And their staff was nice enough to send us a nice thank you. They were thankful of the staff that they work with. And I've spoken with their general manager a couple of times. He's especially complimentary of Melissa Woodford for her organization and communication style. So I'll let that along.
He deals with like 800 and something locations, so the fact that they sent out a hand signature to each of their individual locations shows how personable they are. They're just really amazing.
It was nice to see.
Okay, and D and E kind of go together because they're both,
Yes.
I don't know if you want to take them separate or,
Yeah, I got some very good news.
Exciting.
Jason, the fifth one, Jason applied for a grant through CPRS, and it was a grant through Greenfields Outdoor Fitness. They are the industry leader in outdoor gym fitness equipment. And we're fortunate enough to get $4,175 in that grant. And I've been working with Dennis Arkezian. He's the new president of Orangevale Rotary. And he wanted to do something for our park district. And I steered him towards outdoor fitness equipment. And so combined, we have, $9,600. And the equipment that we're going to get is going to be a total of roughly $16,000.
okay.
So the
So
district-
we have to contribute
We'll have
something.
to contribute about $7,000. And Rotary is also providing volunteers to help us install.
Oh, cool.
And where are we going to do it?
So our master
Here
plan
or
at the community park by the large playground structure. And that's what our master plan, of course, the board, if they have other ideas, but that's what our master plan calls for. And Rotary is certainly in favor of that. They think it's, because that playground gets so
so
much
when it
use.
gets closer, you're going to give us an update about, or an idea, or,
I think it would be beneficial maybe when we have our maintenance committee meeting next week,
all right, okay,
Okay.
talking about it at that time.
Yeah, let's add that to the agenda.
all right.
Yeah.
But that was great news.
Good, yeah, that's,
Great.
and I guess we've budgeted for this, or is it,
Well, we have it. I mean, we didn't,
know we were going to get it, so.
Yes.
But, so we'll have to figure that out later.
right.
All right. Moving along, consent calendar, consent items, So
I move we approve the consent calendar.
I'll second that.
we have a motion by Sharon and a second by Erica for the consent items, so any discussion? Anybody want anything pulled? Then let's go ahead and vote.
All right, that's Brunberg,
Yes.
Montez,
Yes.
Swenson, yes, Stickney,
Yes.
and Mraz.
Yes.
All right, 500.
Okay, and then we have 9, we have none on there, so we'll move along. We didn't have any recent standing committees.
Correct.
But I guess we're having a maintenance committee.
Maintenance committee meeting on the 16th, a week from today at 12:30 in the evening.
12:30 here, or are we going to meet at the,
We're going to meet at the disc golf parking lot.
okay, that would make it more, better. All right, so then we're going to move to 11, Administrators Report, page 40.
All right. I'll touch upon some of these items. The first one actually involves two of our guests tonight. Leslie Blomquist and Casey Kempenauer are both with the City of Citrus Heights, and they applied for a large grant through the federal government and spearheaded locally by Congressman Ami Bera. And it's for $1.1 million to go towards the trail, the Arcade Cripple Creek Trail. And there was a meeting on August 1st out at Seabarsea Park where Congressman Bera was there along with a lot of the city staff, their mayor, myself, Dave Mitchell, the district administrator for Sunrise, was there. And it was just a great opportunity to review the plans for the trail with the congressman and to be there to answer questions. And Casey and Leslie did a great job with their displays and their explanation of the timeline. So this grant is in strong consideration for this grant. And some of it may be tied in with the infrastructure funding that might come down. But overall, it's very exciting.
So
Especially,
this is in addition to the one we already, or is this?
it would be in addition to the grant that they've already received through Department of Transportation.
So does this mean they'll be able to send it further, or is it just for that?
I believe it's to help cover some of the overages.
Additional grant will cover the items that had not found funding. Originally, we weren't planning to light the entire trail. We will now be able to fund lighting of the entire length. We're very happy about that. Those cover some additional items. Construction costs have increased over the years since we got the original grant.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. Let's see, another item on my list is on August 12th. I brought this up at our last meeting on August 19th, but Michelle Gable of Aquatic Design Group visited our swimming pool, and she was met by Horacio and Jason, myself, and Doug Fulrott. And so that was a first big step in determining what we need done to our swimming pool for repairs. I'll get into more of that later on in the agenda.
Okay.
On August 18th, I met with Peter Larimer with MTW Group, the Architect Design Group, to discuss plans for the driveway that would connect our upper parking lot to the parking lot of the new property. And that is what we determined to be our top priority for the Prop 68 funds. And I did hear back from Peter Larimer last week. Their estimate, he has an engineer working with him, the estimate is roughly $178,000 for the cost of that. And it's good news for us because we will have roughly $250,000 of funding. We'll have to assume there's going to be some overages, and we'll probably estimate 10 to 15% in overages. And we have other project ideas that we can use the additional funding on.
So originally, we wanted to do another playground down there, but
Expand the playground.
does it look like we're gonna have enough money for that, or
Very doubtful we'll have enough money to do that
So-
project.
can we, you haven't put the request in, right?
No, we haven't yet.
So is there a second choice we might look at, expanding the trail, or,
Yeah, there's a couple things related to the driveway that I think would work well. So if people want to walk up from the new property up to this property, don't really feel safe having them walk on that new roadway, driveway. Like to create a nice DG pathway up to, to connect the two properties. That's one idea. And another idea is to start building the perimeter walkway into the new property. So from Shackleton Woods, that would loop around the new property and connect. closer
so
to
there's
the
still
business.
time to figure that all into the cost?
There is, but time's running a little low.
And then
So
do we
we're gonna
need
have
to, are we gonna need to vote on it before you submit it?
I think it would be a good idea to bring that to committee,
Okay,
yeah, the planning committee.
okay. Probably the sooner the better.
The sooner the better, and then present it to the entire board in October.
All right.
And that would give me 2 months to finalize the application process,
All right, well,
which,
then,
can
let's-
drag.
I guess that should be our plan then.
That's a good plan.
Is the rest of the board? So,
You said 2 months though, like October's coming up. Like, that's 1 month, right?
Yeah, the
6 weeks.
application has to be in by the end of December
Okay.
to the state.
so we should try to do it in October. We're not gonna have a meeting in November and early December. So we have times to change it if we need to, but
Okay.
the sooner we get a plan and lined up, the better.
Yeah, we get to make a final decision at our October 14th meeting.
Okay.
right.
Next up,
I got a question on the pool stuff. Do we need to make a decision soon?
yeah, so once we get their final report, which I think will be within a week, I'd like to call a meeting, maybe a special meeting with the entire board, to determine which of those options we want to go with. So then we can get really moving.
Early October?
I'd rather not wait as long as October.
All right, that's fine, whatever.
I'd like to do it sooner if we can, because time is of the essence as far as
Right.
getting that pool open in time.
All right. So let's get the report. You guys let us know, preferably a Thursday, I would guess. Is everybody gonna be around on?
Yeah, I will.
Now in the next board meeting?
I have some needs, but I don't.
Well, as long as we have at least 3 of
Yeah.
us, preferably 5, because we're talking probably, what, $300,000 choices, or up to 300,000?
Could be up to 300,000, yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I prepared myself for sticker shock, so it's,
well, I mean,
I was expecting sticker shock on that driveway project. I was relieved it wasn't.
but anyway, so,
yeah,
Yeah, I'm just not available on September 23rd.
okay, well,
whatever, so we'll just try to,
Yeah.
the sooner you get the package together and choices, and because we gotta put it out to bid, and we gotta, so,
Well, thank you.
all right.
Let's see, on August 23rd, myself, Superintendent Oropeza, and Supervisor Bain had a Zoom meeting with Aquatic Design Group, and I brought those, the results of that meeting to all of you in an informational item for you to review, and I did hear back from a couple of you as far as the direction you think we should go. But again, we won't know the final cost, price tag, probably for another week or so. And on August 25th, I did a job shadow with Horacio, and it was great. We started down at the shop and looked through some of his filing systems, and then we visited some of the park sites, a couple trees down. This drought is really causing some problems in our parks with trees, and it was good being with Horacio to have him show me some of the impacts of that. And Director Stickney pointed out a couple of other problems that we have with trees. And
Well, we can talk about it in the maintenance committee too, since we're there.
But we also discussed this committee meeting, agenda items for that, so. It's something I'm doing, and once or twice a month is doing tag-alongs with my full-time staff. And going on to recreation, Jason, you want to take it on?
I just had to go over some of the highlights that I put it in here because it's kind of a summer update of whatever happened in there, you know? So swim lessons, you know, I wasn't looking at all the money kind of thing like that, but just, we had 1,000 people sign up, 1,034 for swim lessons this summer. And this is with,
All the restrictions.
I shrunk down, instead of having 8 classes per session, you know, for every time slot, I had 6 because we were just staffing and everything like that. And we still came through with, you know, 1,000 kids in the lessons this year. That's what's good. Day camp had 600 campers come through. I mean, you know, a lot of repeat, but again, it's.
Is that up or down, or is that about the same?
It's more than last year.
All right, okay.
You know, again, let's kind of base it on kind of COVID levels there. So, you know, it's building back into where it was. We did stop on some days weeks that we said no more registration, so.
And were some of them down at the new building?
Most of them were down at the new building. We
That
did,
worked, and it
we did
worked
bring
out.
a group up here once or twice in the activity building when we got full. But yeah,
Right.
we used the new buildings. The cottage was a little bit harder to.
Okay.
Also, we took out a tree that was down over, I don't know if anybody got to see it walking the trail from, was it Elm, going towards the horse arena?
Right, yeah.
That was a
I didn't go
big
look
one.
at it.
That was a big tree.
That was a big tree that came down there, and that was the first test for the chipper. And the guys did a great job. We just gang tackled that big tree and got it all down and taken care of, so.
Were you able to use the wood chips for anything?
We normally get them to areas where they need it. For example, this time we filled some of the fencing area, and if you drive down Hazel and then right by the cottage, you're gonna see that there's a whole bunch in that area. So we do use them for things like that.
Great.
If not, as much as we can, we chip them into the nature areas or next to the tree so that it goes back to the soil.
Right.
We've been doing. And just finally kind of dealing with the heat wave. This past few days, around 100, had been pretty suffocating, so, plus the smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has been a little extra, but
Well, today was nice. Although it was
still pretty
Almost.
It
humid.
was still pretty hot. Like
Yeah, if you were
96.
outside around 2, 3 o'clock,
Yep.
you could feel it. It was,
There it was thick.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was thick and it was a little humid.
Yes.
Yes,
So
very
I felt
humid.
a little.
I'm surprised, yeah, the fields, the areas, I didn't see any spot areas like we have in the past. I mean, really, when you look overall,
overall, there's a
A little
couple,
bit of Buck and Filbert.
yeah,
but not bad. It looks,
it looks like you've really been working on it evenly. I just want to comment.
I think it had been try to balance the usage of the water, because that is part of the goal for this year, to at least, you know, keep it at a moderate level and not overwater those areas. Instead of doing that, change the sprinklers and do, you know, other things. And just to give you a little bit of what I have been dealing with some of the purchasing of the items, everything is going up.
Yeah,
Just as an example, paint is going to get a 7 to 11% raise
Oh,
on paint. Sprinklers have gone up. The county has made it more, or the state actually, they have to be more efficient, as well as adding some kind of system to where there's no leakage. If there's no, you know, like a valve leaking, so that the sprinkler will stop it and things like that. And the customer is the one that usually suffers for any of those changes that happen with supplies. And, you know, hopefully it doesn't continue going up, because it will create an impact, especially on irrigation.
They used to be expensive a long time ago. They used to be like 40,
Of the
I-40s,
I-40s, yes.
yeah.
So, yeah, it is getting up there.
Wow.
And that is it for my report.
All right.
Real quick, when the chippers and stuff, the 3 times in the last,
Typically, if we could trim a few,
Actually, we went above and beyond and got several areas where it was noticeable that we could do a little more than just, cut back a couple of branches, because
Well,
when
it's
you're on a
appreciated.
horse, you're on the 12-foot range, or higher on the pruning, so.
yeah, you go to about 16 hands on that, and so it's, yeah. So they're all aware of it. And the horse, that's one population we don't generally hear from a lot is
Right.
the horse people. And they were all,
Good. I'm glad.
so,
I heard another comment on the gates.
yes, the gates too.
Because we fixed, we checked all the gates, and there was one that was really dragging, and that one was the one that was the comment on that it was fixed. So, I'm glad that we're able to take care of those little details that the customers see when
They
they
do.
come and visit our parks.
They were talking about the hinges. They
Seems
brought
like
up
that's
the
been a thing
hinges.
for years, yeah.
yeah, the Footnote Community Report, not much activity. B, funding options for the district to help reach our goals set in the Parks Master Plan of 2020. So it's time to start having some in-depth discussion about future funding options for the district, assuming we want to move forward with our master plan. And I know COVID set us back. There was quite a bit of progress made before COVID came along in discussions primarily of a general obligation bond. And I'd like to certainly discuss that as well as other options, perhaps another assessment. And with COVID, it was advised that we wait until the economic atmosphere is a little better. So here we are. So if the next full board discussion.
It wasn't with the committee before.
It was?
Was not.
It was not, okay. Okay, then maybe we keep it that way and keep it full board.
Right.
I think we're pretty much educated on the avenues. It's just, and I think you're right about the timetable.
So we need,
Yeah, I think so, and hopefully outline when our decision should be
Well,
to go forward, probably
we're
like
probably going to have to
March.
design within 60 days of January.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember what the timeline was because there's surveys and everything last time. Are we?
Well, we can make that part of the full discussion, but we need to have a meeting, we need to decide. We probably don't have to make a decision whether it be a bond or whether it be a new L&L right away, but we need to decide if we want to have further opinion polls, we want to,
Yeah.
we can, the whole range of stuff.
Because I think it was with that. I think it was with the general obligation bond. They required us to have the surveys, the interests, right?
yeah.
I think they required it. I don't
It would be
know.
helpful for me if I invite John Isom to present again. I know he
So why
did.
don't you see if when he can come, and
I don't remember what the timeline was.
so,
I thought when we were doing it, we had like that, in the April, May area, there was decisions made to where they could go forward come June and try to really.
Oh, is that what it was?
it's time to refresh the board and all that, so.
Yeah.
If we find, I believe there is a timeline that was established right before everything kind of stopped that dictated all the steps and
Yeah.
the time frame that it would take for those steps, so perhaps we can
So let's have
share
a-
that.
Easements for the city of Citrus Heights to allow them to basically enter and construct on our parcels of property that include the upcoming Arcade Cripple Creek Trail. And Casey Kempenaar is here. He's online. If we have any questions, he's available to answer them. But primarily, and I mentioned this at the last meeting, there's been a bit of an urgency. We are a declared partner in this program, in this project, as well as Sunrise Recreation and Park District, San Juan Unified, SMUD, because all of our agencies have part of the trail within our jurisdiction. And we're all declared partners in this project. And it was understood by the City of Citrus Heights that as declared partners, it was implied that they had permission to enter our property and construct. And so, around the last week of July, notified them that we need a formalized easement for each parcel. Is that correct, Casey? Am I on the right track?
That's correct. Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise to us. And we had to act quickly in order to move forward with this to keep our funding. Otherwise, we could be at risk of losing the construction funding.
So,
We need to do page 49, we need to make a motion and.
yes, need a motion to allow me permission to, with attorney support and guidance.
I move the board directs Administrator Ross to finalize the recreational multi-use trail easements to allow the City of Citrus Heights to enter and construct the Arcade Cripple Creek Trail on identified and specified district property, and to have these easements reviewed by legal counsel for approval before signing and executing the easements. Legal costs are approved up to $5,000.
I'll second
I
that.
second that motion.
Well, Sharon second it.
But I have a question.
Sure.
Would we eventually remove those easements when it's all built?
Yeah. Casey, you want to take that, or you want me to answer that?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that. Our long-term plan is to enter into an MOU with the district to set who maintains what and so forth. But due to Caltrans requirements, this needs to take precedence first.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, an MOU works for me.
Okay, so we have a motion, second. Any further discussion on it?
Nope.
My only question, have we resolved?
Regarding the 7-Eleven property, the city, thankfully for us and out of urgency on their part, they went ahead and arranged for the quitclaim, ultimately approved by the county, which there's no indication that's going to be a problem. As far as the 4 homes that we bought portions of their backyards to make this trail possible, 3 of them have closed, 3 of them are in the books. There's one that, with that new loan agency, understands the importance.
Okay.
So we're ready to step on the gas pedal further if we need to.
All right, are we ready for a vote?
So we have a motion, second. We've had discussion and questions. Let's go ahead and vote.
All right, Montez?
Yes.
Swenson, yes. Stickney?
Yes.
Moraz?
Yes.
And Brumberg?
Yes.
All right, 500.
So that's done.
Great. And I see that our guest, Casey, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right.
Our guest for the skateboard. Hi, Sean. How are you?
All right, so we'll go back to, what is that?
So I'll be happy to introduce Sean.
This is 13A, right?
Yes, 13A.
Yeah.
Thank you. So a little history. About, I don't know, it's probably been 3 or 4 months now ago, Cliff Wiley, who is last year's honorary mayor, actually he's currently the honorary mayor of Orangevale, had been hearing a lot from local high school students, one in particular, that Orangevale really needs a skateboard park. And together they reached out to me, knowing that it was in our master plan for a skate park, and they were wondering how that was going, and is there any way to speed things up? Is there another alternative within our... And he really looked at the negative element of skating that is out there in a lot of people's minds, and really addressed that head on, and made it a very positive, type program and its enrichment. So, I wanted to, again, I thought of Sean. I wonder if Sean's able to bring he's done with the Arden Arcade area to us. I called Sean, he met with myself, Cliff Wiley, and Brad Squires. We talked through some of the logistics, and things have moved along. But I just want to introduce how he got here and where we are now. I'm sure that we're going to have a lot of questions for you, Sean, but Sean's got probably about 10 or 15 minutes of presentation and then an opportunity for everybody to ask questions. Welcome, Sean.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Barry. I appreciate it. I'll jump right in because Barry knows me. I'm a doctor in a program for 10 hours. It's been a long endeavor. Barry, 7 years, man. That's a long time.
It seems to me there might be feedback with having the Orangevale Live,
Oh, is it? Yeah.
because it seems to be only those that are on Zoom.
Can everybody else mute aside from Sean?
That would be better. I had to. Nonetheless, I can work through it. I just want to make sure everybody can hear.
Sean can wear headphones?
Sean, are you able to wear headphones? Do you have a headset?
I'm not. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I can do it. So years ago, I was actually a demographic of students from a public education system that weren't quite being supported enough from like a social justice model. So obviously, lots of hot topics in education. I decided to go a little after my project and chose students that participate or that are interested in non-traditional sports, such as skateboarding. And as I went deeper into research, what I really did a comparative of is all the beautiful lessons that we can teach kids through traditional sports, whether it's, I imagine Park and Rec, most over here play a traditional sport. And it's not necessarily about being a baseball or playing a baseball well or being able, that's perfectly better, whatever just happened, thank you. It's not just about being able to skateboard. It's about one of those lifelong lessons that we can teach youth while they're participating in sports. Things like showing up on time, being a part of a team, mentoring somebody younger than themselves. So fast forward, I was able to get a small startup grant to start a skateboarding program in with the Sheriff's Community Impact Program. And sorry, can everybody hear me again? I'm having a difficult technical day. Thumbs up, Sharon, if you can hear me. Okay, thank you. So as I did my research, it really showed that our school systems and our parks and recs are doing a fantastic job supporting youth that are interested in traditional sports. But my big question's always been, how can we as a community support the kids that might not be interested in traditional sports and fill that gap by supporting them with providing non-traditional sports? So fast forward, we were able to launch an after-school skateboarding program at Arden Middle School, and that program was incredibly successful. The success we saw, we had kids showing up. We only went and tabled like twice for that program. We had kids showing up by the dozens, some wanting to learn to skate and be beginners, and then others that identified as skateboarders. And I think that when I met Cliff, that's what he was talking about is how are we going to support the youth in Orangevale in our community that identify with that skateboarding culture. As I went deeper in my research through school, I was actually able to find a really interesting study where they actually compared 100 teenage traditional sports athletes, specifically baseball players, and they compared those 100 baseball teenagers to 100 teenagers that identified as skateboarders. And again, before I say these statistics, it's not a competition of which one's better. The goal is to be able to support as many kids in our community as we can. So one thing that they compared between the two different groups was how those groups felt society approved of them on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. And for the baseball player, 4.0 and 5 being the highest. So an average of on a scale of 1 to 5, the baseball players felt that that their society approved of them, that they felt that they plugged into society. They asked the same question to 100 skateboarders. And Sharon, you're the only person I can see live. Do you want to hold up on your hand how many on a scale of 1 to 5, 3. So it was actually half of that. It was an average of 1.5 that the skateboarders felt that the society approved of them or connected with them. More importantly, not more importantly, but identified as skateboarders. And you hear me talking a lot about school campuses, junior high campuses, and I've chosen, I really want to provide this program on junior high campuses for very specific reasons. I've done this programming before on non-junior high campuses, and when I put this program on a junior high campus, it builds a very strong connection, one connection that might not have ever existed with that youth to their scholastic campus. And that's such an important bond to build for youth that might not have ever been plugged into their campuses. They feel supported by their schools. They're going to show up more often to school. The other huge reason that's really important to us, and it's in our strategic plan, Project Lifeline this next year, is when we actually engage with youth on school campuses, we drastically see an increase of the number of female participants. And this is a really big deal. When I did my research in college, it was something less than 2.5% of participants that identify as skateboarders identified as females or as non-males. When we opened up art in middle school, more than 25% of our participants were young girls. An important thing. And I attribute that to, I think that our students, especially our young girls, have already been able to build a relationship with their school. They're comfortable on their school campuses, and now we're able to provide it at a place that they're already established in a sense. Again, I also I attribute that to, if you've ever been out to a skate park and been around 90 male teenage boys at a time, it's the camaraderie is pretty absurd. So I want to pause there, and I want to make sure I have the chance to show a short video. And I think what's going to have to do is you'll have to make me the host. I think that's Barry, and then I will have to be the one to screen share.
Hang on. How do we do that, Barry? You know?
Thought you were on the right track there.
Barry, can you hear me? If you could turn your audio on.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Did you catch? I need to be the host to share the video.
Okay, Jason is controlling the mouse.
I don't know what end. It won't get out of here.
You hit share.
Sharon, can you hear me?
Hit share and it went small. I don't know how to get out of it. My things aren't there. So
Barry, if you can hear me, I have to be the host to share the video.
We heard you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard you.
I saw a screen
Yep,
with
we're
a bunch
working
of
on it.
red
Let's see here.
swirly stuff. Was that your screen?
That was a different one. I'm not sure who the host is, but if you click on participants and then you scroll over my name, you can click more, and you should be able to make me the host.
It's the first time I've had to share the screen, so they. Well, see, there we got an expert over here.
When I do it, I just see more by your name.
Make
And I
host.
can just pin you. I don't see.
There we go. Okay, I got it. It has been changed. Here we go. And then Sharon, you're going to be my guinea pig again. If when I start this video, can you give me?
I can see it.
Great. And can you give me a thumbs up when I start it if you can hear the audio?
Okay. Yep. I hear audio.
What would you tell someone about yourself?
Well, I'd probably be like, I'm just at home watching TV, sleeping, doing nothing all day. Like, without the program, I'd just I wouldn't even be a skateboarder anymore. Probably quit. I'd be like, nah, dude, this sucks. But with the program, it's really pushed me a lot. I've been pushed to my limits many times by my friends, by you, and it's really made me a better person and a better skateboarder. If there weren't any fall programs, it'd just be like I'd just be thinking about school a lot, and it'd be really stressing. And with the fall trips, I would just be really entertained, so I wouldn't be bored all day. I want to see, and maybe even other states, and I want to see us going to events, meeting pro skaters, being sponsored, and that would be the best thing ever.
It feels great knowing that something that used to be just a summer fling, something we would only look forward to in the summer, it feels great to know that it's grown into something big and other kids can look forward to. And knowing that I'm a high school leader and I've been with this program for as long, it sort of gave me like a tunnel vision in what I want to do and with what I do, such as schoolwork, projects, homework. I kind of think of it kind of like skateboarding, like you're going to commit to something and you're going to do it no matter what. You're going to mess up, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to fail, but you're still going to do it and you're going to finish strong. And that's kind of the mentality Project Lifelong's given me. The out-of-town trips that we've done, we become more open-minded because a lot of the kids that we took and that we're going to take haven't really gone outside of their town. I'd say I'm one of those kids because I don't go around much, and being able to go to Yosemite National Park, that was insane. And I'll be there for it. I'm down for the ride.
So just a glimpse of the continuum that we do hope to provide for what were junior high students as they transition into high school. Providing access to new opportunities outside of Sacramento is a huge staple in what we're doing as well, especially for the students that might be from the lower socioeconomic communities as well. But I want to pause there because I think I'm getting close to time, and I'd love to discuss and take any questions about the program, our plans for Orangevale. How our organization works, and I want to make sure I leave time to hear from folks as well. So, Barry, thank you for the opportunity and connecting, and thanks for the faith in me too and helping me build Art and Arcade site. I mean, it's thriving. So, very grateful for the opportunity to talk to the board today. So, thank you so much.
I've got a
Hey,
question.
Sean, this is Lisa Montez. I apologize for not being on camera.
That's okay.
But I'm very excited to. I've been a long-term boarder myself. Not that I do much of it anymore, and I'm a huge advocate of providing our youth with other sports options, not necessarily equestrian or baseball and soccer, the typical. So I'm very excited about this. My only thoughts is that I would love for it to be seen on park property. We have two middle schools, and how would you pick one over the other? And then when we do move forward with our master plan, if we have these programs in place at the middle school, which I understand why you do that, why would we continue with the idea of building a skateboard park in our master plan, or should we? I mean, there's some variables there, or some questions that because for me, I really want to see it on park property with the program that you just entailed, because we have a lot of middle school programs, but I'd hate to have to make a choice over one or the other.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. I'm glad that you asked that. One thing, just because tangent, but to bring it back to, because we've seen that the power of that happening. We have seen the testimonials from the teachers, from the principals, that has seen how the kids have transformed and built that connection with their school. But it would not be restricted just to that one campus that it would be on.
Okay, so my next question would be how has been the success with San Juan School District?
Yeah, I mean, San Juan's been fantastic pre-COVID. Unfortunately, I'm sure you got the email last 2 weeks ago as well, where outside user groups are not able to go onto school properties right now.
And that's disappointing. That's very disappointing.
Yeah, I know that before the Delta variant came out, we were going in that direction of opening up programming as well and back on campuses. So pre-COVID, it was very significant at that at San Juan Unified. However, right now, skateboard programming at skate parks. But again, I think there's a finesse and a way to do that. And that's really going to be up to Orangevale of how you regulate your skate park. Skate parks with wristbands and having to check in that are not just open at any times, you can do programming at those. But programming is really difficult to make it work at skate parks and connect with those youth if it's just a skate park where the park is open all the time.
Okay. That makes sense. I appreciate your time, Sean. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
All
Lisa.
right, I have kind of along the same line as Lisa. We've
So I
got,
have a question.
I've got me first, Sharon.
Okay.
We've got the new property where the skateboard park is planned. We've got a bunch of area that's flat. We could put it's right around the corner from pasture. We don't have restrictions of San Juan not allowing outside people on, especially if we got a structure, but I like to see it, that way we can get the skateboarders on our property and say, okay, get your parents to vote for something to give us some money, and we'll put a skateboard park 500 feet from where you're skating right now. You know,
Well, it's right by
we're
Pasture
trying,
and it's by
we're trying to
Casa.
sell the community that we want it here, and all you gotta do is, we tried to sell the library on that, and that didn't go over as good as it would have. But, so I'm kind of on the same track as Lisa. I'd like to have it on our property, and we'd have a little structure to it, but, you know.
Yeah, and can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because I actually coach for a sport at San Juan. And yeah, maybe COVID's going to be over soon, but we've had so many restrictions on sports. And so I can understand the need for it, but I can also understand maybe looking at other avenues just because there's a lot of different departments that end up shutting things down. And anyway, it's been a challenge.
All right, Sharon, thank you for waiting. We need Sharon.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to mute the OV Parks. Okay. I guess what I'm curious is to put it on a school area. Do they give you an existing parking lot, or do you have to go make some whole new parking lot area to put this in?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually met with Mike, the principal of Pasteur today, and we had finally found a place to put it, and we're green light at that school, which is really really exciting. So basically it has to be able to open up onto concrete. And that's kind of been the difficulty. It's like you do have to take up a parking lot space, and that's another thing to manage with going, if we're going to operate in a parking lot space. What happens when there's a farmer's market at the Parks and Rec Community Center, where if we're able to operate it on blacktop, that's a big deal. The other side of it too is I've gotten to walk, and I'm not anti putting it on the Parks and Rec property. But at the end of the day too, it's a big part of our mentorship, and there's a lot of distractions. There's definitely dangers as well. Being so close to Hazel Avenue, where the speed limit's 55 and people are going 70, a skateboard launches out, a kid chases after something. I mean, we're trying to take on up to 30 to 40 kids a night. And so for me, the safety concern and being in a protected place, such as the back of a campus, it feels a lot safer. I think it's also really safer for those youth that are still protecting and figuring out their identities too. They feel safer doing something on a school campus where traditionally it's not as intimidating.
Yeah, I like the idea of starting off with, a pasture and putting something there with was going to be fenced in and safe.
Right.
And back from the freeway, Hazel Avenue. But we could learn from the lessons of the interim one or a continued one, but I'm going to call it the interim one at say Pasteur, and we could build off of the lessons learned from that and grow it into our park. That's kind of where my thoughts are going.
In the interim, where we're not talking about where the
Farmers market.
where the
Farmers market.
farm and market is. We're talking further away from Hazel. We've got a huge parking lot that's already there, and it's probably, I could see you starting at Pasture and then moving it over to closer to us, and then when we actually build a safe one.
Yeah. What I like about Sean's plan, well, one, I know that it's worked at another school, but I think the goal for us right now is to get the most amount of kids interested, doing it safely, and getting more females involved in skating. And Sean's model of doing it on a school campus does those things. But I'm also talking out of both sides of my mouth here, but in favor of what Lisa, Director Montez, and Director Stickney are saying about having that, the more kids that are interested, and I think that's going to be on a school campus, the more kids that are interested, the more successful our skate park will be once it's built.
Can I ask that?
I guess, this is Lisa Montez. I guess for me, the concern would be, and I'm going to get emails when I say this comment, I just know it. Carnegie, Pasteur seems to get all the programs. Why Pasteur over Carnegie?
That's a good question. The biggest thing is, we have a site at Will Rogers, and we're able to dip down. I'm able to spread. This is going to be our 4th site that we have in Sacramento County, and so for me, I'm trying to see if we can spread them out as far as we can. And Pasteur is northmost. That being said, too, I've gotten to connect with the principal. He seems open arms. I also am familiar with that back play yard. It's huge. There's a lot of concrete. It doesn't, I went and met with the PE department. I've gotten very good at battling PE departments for concrete space on school campuses. And there's a lot of, put it in an MOU if you wanted me to, if we, as we move forward, going and setting up our beautiful pop-up tent and engaging with kids at Carnegie and letting them know, hey, this is what's going on over at Pasteur. And it's not restricted to Pasteur students.
I think the verbiage is going to be very important rather than say, come over to Pasteur, see what's going on at Pasteur. I think we just need to define that as a program for middle school students. That's, the address is Pasteur, but not a Pasteur program. I think that would be helpful just for our Carnegie kids, because I often feel I get a pulse on that from the community sometimes, that there's that separation with the Carnegie, and they're kind of, like you said, where they're placed. They're kind of in that Fair Oaks, Orangevale. They got, it's just like when people say, what high schools in, what kids go to, they go to CASA. We've got Orangevale kids that go to Bella Vista.
Right.
And to remember that. And so for me, Pasteur seems to get a little bit more of that attention. So if we could just, maybe it's in the verbiage and how we present the message.
I think that's a great idea, Lisa. For me, it's never been art in middle school skateboarding. It's Project Lifelong. It's always been Project Lifelong.
Okay.
So I do. And again, to me, it's all about being able to bring in as many kids as we can.
Absolutely. I think just from what I know, there's a lot more female skaters over at Carnegie.
Yeah, it's interesting. I love the junior high age. You see these young females. The young girls they dominated the skate nights. The boys were intimidated, and like that you don't see much anymore. I'm really excited. We're hiring our 3rd site level employee for skate nights, and it's going to be our first female hire. And that's because we have so many young girls showing up, and it's important that our mentors are able to connect with one another. And I'm not saying you can't connect just because you're a different gender, but you can understand with a young girl or a young boy, they do identify and connect with similar genders traditionally.
Well, we do have some senior boarders, so you might have to start a senior program.
That's what I'm talking about. There's so many things.
I'm talking like old seniors.
There are ways that we can do it. Yeah, I think the volunteer component we build in.
I got you on.
I have a quick question. I think the young lady here has a question.
So you have
Can you
to
microphone?
come to the microphone.
So I go to Bella Vista, and I was just wondering, would it be open for free skating, or is it just the program that's allowed there?
That's a really good question. When you say free skating, you mean?
Yeah, just skating around for fun. and like not being part of the program?
We do is, there's no requirement to have to skate on our features. We build a lot of the ramps. We build them for beginners too. I love having folks come up that don't necessarily want to skate the big things or just do free skating. So we don't put any restrictions on how you have to skate. That being said, because we're on a school property and we want to make sure everyone's safe, we do have to have everybody sign up for the program. And so when you're skating around with us, you would be part of the program, just in case something happened to you. His favorite word in the industry. But did that answer your question?
Director Stickney has a question for you.
Barry, have you shown him our property?
Yes, I did take Sean around, showed him our property. As far as that parking lot at the new property, he viewed it from the hilltop. I pointed down to it. At that time, the most appealing site was where the farmer's market is, but Sean, he did. We even looked over at the youth center lot, lower parking lot.
No.
Yep.
Well, maybe after we get the road in, and we move the farmer's market down there, we can do something up here. I'm kind of going towards what Lisa, I like it on our property. It's a way of marketing the ability for us to afford a skateboard park, or it's all about, it's marketing. We can't do it. I'm not sure what they cost, but I'm thinking they're probably $1 million anyway. And we don't have that in our back pocket, so we've got to get the community to, all about marketing.
Marketing is the middle name of the nonprofit sector. I market for a living to keep the organization going. And so I will tell you, if we partner with Orangevale, it will not be, hey, we're over at past year and everything's past year. I mean, social media exists for a reason. If Orangevale is supporting this, our community of followers of over 1,000 people that are invested in the skateboarding community, they're going to know that Orangevale Parks and Rec is a huge reason why we're putting this together. You want to go big on marketing or wherever we put it. I have no problem sharing and continuing to share the support that we get from partners. For me, it's just, I believe in putting it on a school campus because of that connection that happens with youth. On the other side of that too, and something that I am always concerned about, when inside the shipping container, we in the fall, we have to provide our own lighting. We have a $3,000 generator in there. We have floodlights and a lot of expensive equipment. Put that out somewhere where folks from Orangevale can see it off of Hazel consistently, and it's just a shipping container. Shipping containers get broken into all the time. By putting it on the back of a campus, we're not going to be, if we invest in this, it's on a school campus, and COVID continues. I mean, that to me is some sort of language that we could create in an MOU. If we build this whole site, it's ready to go, and we can't do it on San Juan, we'll move the container over to OB Parks. But again, I think building that connection on the campus, I think it's really important. But I'm happy to celebrate the partnerships that invest in this program, because we couldn't do it without
it. As it being a safer location, because it's inside our park. The possibilities of electricity are easier to get at. We can attach it to one of our buildings, run a line, electrical line, I would think. For inside our park, safer than at a school. That's my feeling.
And maybe expand the high school senior program over to Park District as we are moving forward with our master plan, or a second location or something, a satellite location or something that we can do in order to support, because it's in, there's that both sides of that. The community support is going to be a big thing for the bond issue, as Mike mentioned.
Sure.
Support for, we have a lot of folks who are advocate for skaters. However, there are those traditional sports fans, and we are an equine community. So we're going to have to educate, as you well know, when it comes to skaters, it's education. We have to provide the knowledge for folks to know that not all skaters are, profiled.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the perfect answer is. I'm just excited to have a skate program.
Can I ask 2
You
questions?
can ask your question.
Okay.
We've got
All
a
right.
couple minutes left, and
Sorry about that. Okay, so I'll dissuade one of it. I'll put away one of them. So what would you need from us as a park district to have this happen?
That's a good question. I mean, obviously, we're always trying to find funding streams. I'm not sitting here asking, hey, we want you to fund 100% of the operations for the next 20 years. For me, looking at this program, it's really important to me to start it and make sure that it is sustainable, which that does include, helps our operations side of things. That being said, I've gone and done a Rotary presentation already. I am ready and set. I'm happy to meet with the board. Brad Squires, I can't wait. He's going to put a big fundraiser on for me. I have an endorsement from Sue Frost. There's a lot of players that are involved in this, but to talk numbers, to build a program and startup, including the lights, all the skate features that it's so far. That doesn't include Sue Frost's endorsement. That doesn't include, I know Brad Squires can throw some parties with the chamber. I'm excited to fundraise with him. So I guess what I'm looking for from OV Parks is help funding this and investing in this program. And I think it sounds like where this location ends up might change, how much that, and that's in the discussion too. So I don't ever like to ask for money the first time I meet people. I just like to tell people what I do. So I'm not by any means asking for funding right now, but it's, it does take funding to get these things started.
I think the mayor offered up 10K. We should ask him that.
Are you referring to Cliff?
Yes.
Yeah, so Cliff offered up $5,000 and was trying to get a $5,000 match from another organization.
Okay.
So that still stands. That stood. He said that when they opened up Desi's and they had that big ribbon cutting, that's when he first said it, and then he did confirm it at my Rotary presentation, I think about a month ago.
Okay.
So that is happening. I know Brad Squires is very excited about this. We're waiting to really lock down a location for this so we can start promoting it. That's a really good question. I think it's really difficult to answer because I think it really depends on when we can get that fundraising stream committed and started. In the past, I have raised enough money to build the entire site. We're also operating on a budget, as you can imagine. And it's definitely been stretched thin because we haven't been able to do fundraisers during COVID. So I would say, to answer your question, it will very much so be dependent on how fast we can raise that $40,000. That being said, if we were able to raise that $40,000, by Christmas or by next spring, my hope is to be able to open it in next school year. Fall would be fantastic. It'd be quick though. It's difficult to build ramps in 100-degree weather during the summer, and there's a lot of them to build. So I think about a year and a half, Barry, depending on when the funding comes in.
all right.
And this is just for skateboarding, right? Not for scooters, just for skating, right?
We are keeping it to just skateboarding, yes.
Just
Yes,
skating?
there's just for skating.
Okay.
I got to mute and unmute here, so.
All right, so
Thank you, Sean.
I would like to invite Sean to meet with Barry and look at our property and maybe get not from above, but down below.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yes.
I'm happy to come.
But I'll let you guys arrange that, so.
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you, Sean.
Thank
Appreciate
you
your
very
time.
much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was wonderful.
Wow, yeah.
all right. So now we're on to 13D.
13D is just a verbal, but
He was the host.
it's
told you to do that before you
it's coming up on a year for me, and we wanted to make sure we get my evaluation done It'll be a year for me at the end of November. We're looking at having an evaluation for me. November 4th might be the ideal
Yeah,
date.
that's the day I thought, and then,
It's my husband's birthday.
well, we can do it the first week in December, too. I mean, that's just,
It's true.
Yeah.
you want to pick it, I don't, do you have your calendar or not?
I'm a rookie in the sharing the screen.
Probably now you're going to text me, they can get in.
The 2nd of December,
December 2nd?
which is Thursday.
I think I'm good. Yeah, I'm good with that.
You might want to bring this
December
up its
3rd,
own,
you
because
will
I got
be
Lisa
busy.
and I got Sharon back in here.
Okay.
Oh, we lost them?
Yeah, there was a disconnect.
Ah, there we go.
All right. So December 2nd, Thursday the 2nd.
We're looking at having a closed session,
Special meeting.
special meeting for my evaluation on December 2nd. If there's no conflicts, we'll go ahead and try to schedule that.
Right. And so you send out an email to everybody, and then we'll,
All right.
all right?
Shook her head.
Okay. So far, I think I'm okay.
All right, well, he was going to send out an email, and then we'll figure that out over the next week or so.
It'll be at 6:30?
We could do, yeah, 6:30 is great. Earlier if you
Regular
want.
time?
Yeah.
Or 6 or?
No, we can do 6:30, that way we
Okay.
don't have to
All right.
All right.
upset anybody's,
Yeah, no additional update on the pool, just, we've already discussed that.
and we need to get rolling on that. Okay, letter to the, did you send that?
Yes, I sent that letter. I believe I notified all the board members that I'd sent that. And
She didn't ever get back to you, or did she,
the people I sent it to didn't respond.
okay.
Ms. Pinard is aware that it was sent, and she
And the
seems
way we
satisfied.
want it structured?
Yes.
Okay.
She's aware of all that.
All right. So now we're on to D, E, F,
We're
G,
On to G.
the charging station.
Oh, yeah, that was one of our residents.
Approval of the district.
Yeah, looking for the approval to have me look into the feasibility of having charging stations at our parks. I've done a
Parks,
little bit of
or
research.
all our parks, or just this part?
Well, I think we only have so much say in that, because
Right.
I believe there needs to be so much traffic or so much,
This would
You know-
probably be a good spot. Well, anyway,
I
so,
think this is probably the
so
best.
can I get a motion to,
I move the board district staff, I move that the board district researches the feasibility of providing vehicle charging stations to district parking lots and to report findings at a future board of directors meeting by March of 2022.
I'll second. All right, that was Lisa. All right, so we have. We have a motion and a second. I think it's a good idea to look into it.
Yep.
So I guess we can, anybody else has a comment?
No, my understanding is that Biden has moved his energy department to look into funding sources. And I read in the paper that SMUD looks like the fall of 2022, when they'll have the most information available regarding possible funding sources.
All right, so look into it and maybe look for like some kind of solar charging thing too above it.
That'd be
All right, so we have a motion, a second. Let's go ahead and vote.
Is it a voting thing?
Well, let's go ahead and do that, since it's going to be.
Just
an
all in
agency.
favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So it's 5-0 in favor. So you got our permission or direction to do that.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so director's comments, we'll go down there.
No, we still have H.
Yeah.
H is a discussion about
Oh, yes, so
our
that's
current
important.
status of COVID-19 and vaccinations and
So I'm of the opinion that we should have the policy committee look into doing something, looking into it, come up with a policy I know the president just today was going to make it mandatory for everybody. I don't think we need to do that yet. So I was going to move it to the policy committee to talk it over, come back with a recommendation.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I think that's good.
So I think it's, I mean, we're what, 80%, 90% already?
Our staff, I'm not positive of everybody. I know that of our 13 full-time staff, at least 10 have been vaccinated.
Okay,
And part-time staff, it's also a pretty high ratio.
okay, so,
So can I ask of those who are not, are they abiding by the guidelines for unvaccinated personnel?
Everybody's abiding by the mask mandate indoors, and our staff has been very respectful. I think everybody that is and may not be vaccinated are following the guidelines.
Okay, and is our extended policy for paid COVID leave, has that expired, or are we still pay our staff who get COVID
That
or out?
I'm sorry. Yeah, that expires on September 30th.
Okay.
And it's been used, 2 full-time staff have used a portion of their 80-hour allotment, and I believe 4 part-time staff due to an outbreak in our summer camp. Though they weren't infected,
They were quarantined.
they were quarantined.
Okay.
all right, so we'll.
Well, then I have a question, because not just like staff, but like coaches or consultants that are in contact with the kids in the programs, right? Don't we have people that we hire that are in some of our programs?
They're
That should be
independent
all part of the,
contractors.
I think that's all part of the policy that hopefully they'll be able to come up with. You know, I would encourage them.
I don't want to pay for shots. That
Yeah.
makes me,
I mean, I'm open for anything, but we need to,
I'm not, no, we're not paying for shots. It's not, it's
yeah, well, whatever. Well,
because it's not a, you know, you have other folks who've already, unless we're going to pay everybody who's already gotten a shot.
Oh, no, I was, that's.
Okay. Well, if you're going to pay everybody, I just didn't want you to be like some other people that are, you know.
No, it wasn't just the people that
famous on
have it, it was
TV,
gonna be for everybody,
you know?
but that, I wanna leave it up to the policy, the committee to come up with a plan, and then if we don't like their idea, we'll let them know, but whatever.
Sounds good.
Directors Maraz and Montez are on the policy committee, so I'll be in touch with you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be in touch with you shortly, and we'll schedule a meeting.
I'm open to time, so whatever.
All right, so, I didn't wanna drag this out too much, but you, go and try to be as positive as we can.
I've already lost 2.
You're gonna get a meeting probably as soon as humanly possible.
I think within a month, well,
2 younger ones.
before the next board meeting.
All right, director's comments, let's
That
see.
one was his fault.
Marissa, nothing?
What?
No,
Nothing?
Thank you for your help.
no.
New tech support.
Jason, anything else?
I don't have anything else for you today.
All right.
I'll save it up for next time.
Horacio, we'll see you in a week, I guess.
Yep, I'm working on that, and
Maybe I'll talk to him tomorrow about if you want anything on the agenda, we'll try to agenda lined up by tomorrow, right?
Yes, my intention is to have the agenda out tomorrow.
All right, okay.
Yep, just to thank you
If
for
there's anything you
everybody
wanna-
that
It's on the 17th usually.
has contacted me with any issues that you find at the park, any good comments about the work that we're doing, and anything that we can improve on. All appreciate it. So being
I usually,
responsive to
I work through.
all the needs,
I work through Barry and then
good
he,
comments as well.
Let's see.
We got a list here. Hold on. It looks really good out there, though.
so,
No, nothing. Thank you to all
so
the
if you
staff.
want anything on, let Barry know and then we'll try to.
Yeah.
try to keep it to that park if possible, but it
Okay.
doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Manny, you got anything?
No,
You're
okay.
good?
I did have one thing, sorry. When
Sure,
we're talking
Erica
about
next.
maintenance issues, it's very teeny, but when you guys do the maintenance at Almond, do you, on benches, sometimes they get plugged up, and so the water doesn't drain through those holes, so just maybe, I don't know, stick a little pole in there or something, make sure
Talking about the benches.
the benches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an easy.
That's that's a regular
They
maintenance.
have holes drilled in them.
Yeah, but sometimes they get plugged up by debris or
Debris,
something,
yes.
and then they
What
don't
gets on there.
drain, and with the sprinklers, it gets on there, and then, yeah, so just to make sure that they're unplugging them
Yeah, we'll
if
take
need
a look
be.
at it.
Yeah, yeah,
Care of it.
yeah, but other than that, I enjoy the parks, I eat there at lunch a lot of times
Yep.
there, so,
There's no garbage.
And we have
yeah, it's beautiful,
and we have
yeah.
a restroom now, too.
At Almond?
Yeah, well, a porta potty.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
there it goes.
I was like, how did I not know about this?
I thought the porta potty was there a long time ago. Did we get it replaced?
We took it away for a while, and then we brought it back. It's back.
Yeah,
For 3
but
months.
the parks look fantastic, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're really clean.
It's raining outside my house.
Nice.
Oh, what
Good.
Really?
Yeah, that's, all
Outstanding.
right.
I thought
Lisa,
it
you
was
got
clouds
anything?
Coming in.
Do you like to add?
I
Lisa?
saw clouds.
I don't have much. Everybody just be well and be safe.
Sharon?
Thank you.
Supposed to be
I
lightning and
do.
thunder in the mountains.
My husband was trying to look at locations to hold a couple Boy Scout meetings. And so on our website, he looked at the meeting rooms, which had the capacity on the meeting rooms. Then we had to go to this other website to go to the fees charged for the meeting rooms. Another document, right? We had to go, well, yeah, the same website, but another document for the fees. And then you had to keep going back and forth to go, okay, now what was the capacity of this one? And what, so there's nothing that has both the capacity and the rates in one. And then we also don't have pictures of the new meeting rooms of the new buildings. We only have the rates for those, but there's no pictures of them. And he went to the Carmichael website. He says, you need to look at your competition because they had an easier way of looking up the rooms and the fees. So
Thank you.
So we'll work on that. Just to let you know, Sharon, that if they're during the day, I think if it's a nonprofit organization, there is no fee.
Only on certain
no, there
days.
is. There's a youth fee. They get a lower rate for having youth nonprofit, but
Was it-
they do pay a fee.
Even if it's nonprofit during business hours?
Correct.
All right.
Certain things like the public education and things like that, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts at the Rock Amphitheater, so there's certain locations, but correct, for the building, it's just a lesson fee. The only time it is free is if the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts want to hold a meeting here Monday through Thursday. We will give the 1 hour room use of the classroom to have their meetings. And that is with a service project as well. So it's a lot, we used to have a lot of the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, or Girl Scouts specifically, I remember, would meet here once a month or twice a month for their year, and then they would do the service projects as well.
All right.
And there, with that, there we have our new system starting up, which is going to have all of the pictures, maps, things of that. The reason we don't put the prices on the website is because we do change them regularly, so this way it's consistency, which is why you have to download that PDF for the fees. If you download the actual rental packet, the rental packet usually has the location, the size, and all of that on the packet as well with the fees.
Well, I'm recommending the PDF with the fees, put the capacity of each unit on that PDF. Then you don't have to go back and forth. The PDF could just have the capacity.
Great, we'll take a look at that.
We'll work on it. All right.
You'll see in the new program, though, that it'll be a lot nicer. We just
Yeah.
haven't got to work on that part of it yet because it's all about
On
the,
what the room is and the capacity on that PDF.
Yeah, but we'll have videos on the new one, pictures, maps, everything.
And that's coming in a month or so?
It's coming any day, but that piece will be a little bit further behind. But we're
All
going
right.
speaking of bells and whistles, our website, I believe I notified the board, our Parks Master Plan is now up on our website. And it's pretty interactive, and it's great information. And so when it does come time for funding, we can direct people to that. And I think it'll be informative for our voters. Big shout out to Horacio for working so closely with Little League on getting that Lovett Field looking so great, and working so closely with the volunteers.
Looks good.
Very important, having that partnership. And I believe that's all.
All right.
All right, I'm last up, but hang on a second, Manny.
No, I just need to
He's
sketch
leaving.
up.
He's had enough.
The gavel yet.
I gotta stretch.
The parks look generally very good, considering the heat we've had this year and the smoke.
Just stiff.
I think they look pretty good, actually they picked up over from the last month, I think there was a few dry spots, most of those are gone. So there's a minor one at a time, I guess you're the pool.
The pool, if not sooner. We may take that before the next board meeting.
Right.
One item that will be on the next agenda is the OLAD resolution that we passed last month. The amount that was on the OLAD matched the numbers that were on the resolution. That was my error. I had made an adjustment towards the end, and I didn't correct it on the resolution. I'm speaking with the county, and they're going to allow us to just update it next board meeting.
So we're all good, though, we're all
good.
legal.
It was a
We're all legal.
$1,400 difference.
All right.
Nothing major.
All right, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I second.
I second.
All right, I beat you this time. All in favor? Aye.
Bye.
We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Night, everybody.
Night.